Hey guys, what's going on? Travis and Dakota here with Billingsley Insurance, and we just wanted to make a real quick video. We like to drop a video about once every week or so to talk about something, and what we want to talk about today is really something that we talk about a lot here at Billingsley, and that is having high liability insurance limits. We obviously talk to a lot of customers that come through the process. We talk to a lot of friends and family online, and what we're seeing over and over again is people that are with other insurance companies that have low liability limits. And a lot of the times when I ask them, why do you have such low liability limits? You've got a good job, your wife has a good job. Y'all are bringing in good money. Y'all are buying a house. You have equity in your house. Why are your liability limits so low? And they kind of don't really know the answer to that because nobody's really explained to them what liability insurance does. The liability part on your insurance policy, whether it be on your auto or your home policy. But let's just take the auto policy for example. The state minimum limits in Oklahoma are $25.50. In 25, 25, and then in Texas they are 30, 60, 25, which means if you're in an at-fault accident and you're found negligent and you are going to be sued, that they can sue you for as much as they want, but your insurance company is only going to pay up to $30,000 per person or $60,000 total for that accident, and then $25,000 for the property. Now, obviously, $60,000 if it's a really bad accident and you injure or there happens to be a death, that $60,000 is nothing. So they are going to sue you personally for any equity that you have in your home, any money that you have in the bank. Any assets that you have whatsoever. And if you don't have any of those things, a lot of people say, one of the most famous things that I hear everybody say is, you can't get blood out of a turnip. Well, yes you can, because if you've got a job and your wife has a job and y'all are bringing in income, they can sue you for future earnings and your wages will be garnished to get that lawsuit paid for. So just for instance, earlier today, just 10 minutes ago, I had a client reach out to me, and he said, man, I've been hearing your videos and seeing that you guys are talking about, raising your liability limits. What are mine? I said, perfect, let's take a look at it. We looked at it. He actually had 50, 100,000, 50,000 for property, which is a step above state minimum, but I showed him how to go from that to 100, 300,000, and then 100,000 for property damage, and his rate only went up $12 a month for that much coverage. So for peace of mind, I urge you to look at your policy, know what you have, know what your liability limits are, know what they're for, and there is no such thing as full coverage. Yeah. By the way, right. Everybody says, when I ask them what kind of coverage they have, well, I got full coverage. If you've been told by your agent that you have full coverage, that is a lie. All insurance policies have limits. So you need to know what your limits are and be knowledgeable of that. And if you need someone to explain that to you, I would be happy to look at it for you and explain that to you. Dakota, you wanted to add in on this subject?
Raise your liability limits, because one wreck can change your entire life. So, and that's why we do what we do, is to protect people, make sure that their lives aren't ruined, by a stupid accident. So, anyways.
And when we do hear about these things that happen to people, it's usually after they've happened. I had not a client of mine, but a friend of mine reach out to me on Facebook the other day, messaged me and said, hey Travis, thank you so much for trying to educate everyone, not only your clients, but everybody out there, on why it's important to have high liability limits. Because her mother had been killed in a car accident by a person that was worth millions of dollars and had state minimum coverage. And what happens is they Of course, his insurance company paid out the state minimum, paid out, you know, the 60,000 or 50,000 or whatever it was, and then now they're in a litigation where they're going after his personal finances, and they're going to win. And you know, all he had to do was pay, you know, $10, $15, $20 extra a month, and he would have had much better coverage, at least $500,000 limits, and then add another, you know, umbrella to that to get a umbrella policy, which increases your liability up to a minimum of $1 million, which anybody that's worth $1 million should have had. And what would have happened in that case is they would have looked at his insurance, and his insurance company would have wrote a check for $500,000, and then an umbrella would have wrote a check for another $500,000, and it would have been that quick, that easy, done. And her family would have been more whole after that in a much faster fashion, and he could have gone on and lived his life without having to deal with that. And then I'm sure he's having to deal with, you know, just the accident
on top of
all that. So anyways, guys, look at your insurance policy. It is a big deal. Insurance is one of the most important things you can look at as far as your finances are concerned.
Absolutely.
And you know, if you don't have what's called a declaration page, call your agent, have them email you one, and take a look at it. If you need someone to explain it and they won't explain it to you, I would be happy to. Dakota would be happy to. And our mission is to make sure that you guys have the proper coverage in place, and that you know, that you can go on living your life without having to worry about a financial disaster.
Yeah, that you're protected.
That you're protected. All right, thanks guys, and hope y'all have a great weekend.